Hi guys, thank you very much for joining me. Polina here talking to you a little bit about the full moon eclipse that is happening in Capricorn on the 4th to the 5th of July. Some people say it's the 4th, some people say it's the 5th. I think it's the 4th. So here we are. Um, there is nothing to worry about, but there are deeds now repaid for. So there is a karmic debt repaid, and perhaps on some very vulnerable level or some very epic level, you now realize what you've done and who you are. So much of this isn't really that bad. Much of this isn't really that strong, but there is a sense of a little bit of irony there. And there is a situation of growth also happening just as soon as this moon hits. So this is where you understand, oh, okay, so I can't have this now. Or, okay, so this is not what is happening in my life anymore. Or these are not the situations or the formats that I'm going to pursue later on in life. Oh, okay. So to me, it looks kind of kinder than it seems. I mean, this is the third of three eclipses here, and it is not really maybe seen or felt what is actually going on. So it is a milder, slightly numbed out type of feeling to me. And it also feels like straight after, on the 5th and the 6th and the 7th, which is going to go on a different way or go on a different strategy. And it's not something that sort of like happens often, but it feels to me that sometimes there are these useless or incomplete situations that really show themselves to us, and we don't feel shock. So as we look at whatever is not complete, um, sometimes we suffer, but here we do not. So it feels to me like a very, very nice time to go, oh, that's weird. Okay, well, oh wow, I've got another road ahead of me. Okay. It's a very, very calming eclipse, I believe. I feel that with this Jupiter conjunction to Moon, there's going to be quite a lot more possible after this change or this time that we never thought was possible before. So it is a very, very interesting kind of flicker. So to me, it feels like a very innocent sort of like a realization, as if in a dream. When we dream, sometimes we have these realizations. So when we're asleep and we're seeing visions, sometimes to see something in a vision is much easier than to understand it in real life. So sometimes, like, people see something and they just kind of like gasp for a split second and then they allow it to be whatever it is. So to me, it feels like one of those very, very neutral and alkaline eclipses, which we don't usually kind of like have the pleasure of having, but also pleasurable it is not. I mean, we have things that are square here, the cardinal square, we have Capricorn, and we have Aries and Cancer utilized here. There is like a very, very interesting kind of like density with this Mars and Chiron conjunction balancing out this moon and the sun. There's not really that much to do but this. You know, there's not really that much to say but this. Yet some people have something else brewing, and there are quite a few of us, I believe, saying things and just letting them see the light of day, but they shouldn't right now be said. So words are important, emotions and thoughts are very, very intense, publicly and privately. What we do have inside, what kind of concepts we carry, what things we marry one to the other, what types of things we combine, what we do have now in our thoughts or in our throat kind of stuck is going to really, really get us there. So if there is a plummeting energy, so if you want to distribute negative energy via your thought or via your action or via your words, it is going to be very, very, I believe, toxic and karmic. And if you are now realizing that we have to stop and we have to really, really give ourselves that respect and give ourselves that care and that light and understand that we have been probably disrespecting ourselves in the past, if we have been just letting things fly. And if you really, really understand and you can reveal to yourself now that the main form of respect and self connection and diligence and pride really lays in the way that you address yourself and others and how you are in the mind as well. So, the throat, I believe, here is an important part of this vision that we're experiencing with this moon. It feels like the waters are clearer now than they have been, but for so many people, there have been blocks. And there are some of these blocks falling out, people just saying those things, things slipping out, or information just is available to be circulated. Though it feels to me that it's not just about that, I believe it's more about practical pursuits and the quality of life that we're having, as this opposition between Cancer and Capricorn is what we're building here and what we're actually establishing for ourselves and for our children, perhaps as well. So, to me, the 4th of July also looks like one of the most wondrous times for this reason, for this very reason, to glorify and exemplify those beautiful, strong, physical, practical, doable things that you have now got. And I've said this before in the July video that we are looking at a smorgasbord of what we have come to be through what we have managed to attain or what we have managed to find out physically and also interdimensionally. Where we are now in the world and how we're going is an important part of this particular month and year, as Rat does like to harvest and does like to collect. And it is actually a very, very important time to, I believe, come to terms with how come there are certain things that will never work and how come you have definitely got a level of success. Everybody has to, I believe, here celebrate um, perhaps the paternal line also with the moon meeting Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in the sky, celebrating their savviness and understanding that those rigid parts of their world or those more practical pursuits in their life have been answered and seen perhaps by lots of people. So we are now coming up to the surface as providers, as gatherers, as um, people that are, how can I say, progressing culture and helping other people along as well through their own savviness. So here we have one of the first triumphs of Rat. Look at what I got, look at how well it's all going, So there is something very, very much better than this for us, as well as the previous solar eclipse, I believe, last month has treated us a little bit plainly, perhaps, and there are certain people that have even greater heights to climb and their eyes on even a greater prize. But to do things blindly is not possible right now. I believe that we have to recognize the different practical vulnerabilities and the different practical wins that we have in our lives, and also what is clear, what is strong, what is impressive to us, what is to our taste, what is it that we want to revive as well with all these retrogrades, all these retrogrades in the sky, who we are actually feeling kind of promised to as well. Where do our loyalties lie? How do we feel about it in the end? Do we really breathe through this and just let it be fine? Or can we perhaps circulate more energy, more power, and more form with those of us, with those people that matter more, or those things that matter more, sorry. There is also something going on, I believe, with certain parts of the world and certain parts of our reality that are covered up with all these retrogrades. I believe that we don't really know or understand yet the fidelity or the sequencing of certain conversations. So public, political, social life is, I believe, not seen. I trust that many of us don't even know how we in our personal lives are seen or represented or what is going on. So there is a bit of an undercurrent and an overcurrent over the main sort of line. There are things that are over our heads and there's things that are under the radar. So to me it feels there is something a little bit unseen, and also within ourselves we could ourselves be unseen. So it's a very easy time for ridicule, very weird time for lying and strange infestations and needs and God knows what. So there is like some very, very crazy stuff happening under the surface for many of us that we might not yet have the maturity or the calmness to resolve. As soon as you are calm, you can use anything during this resourceful time to aid you and help you out. So there is nothing that is really truly in detriment. Anything that was timed to be, any sad story, any kind of confusion, any kind of um, under the radar information, gossip, or even abuse will be, I believe, used to your greater expansion should you only be calm. So the thing also is things that are not really ours or in our way are now going to start to be a hindrance. People that don't match us and don't want to know us will start to become very boring, and somehow the attention span during this type of eclipse is just going to naturally shift out into a different dimensional state. I also trust that not all of us, but many have healed quite a lot during the first burst of rat, and also in the first part of cancer. I actually believe that we are now starting to place things in a better format, and it feels like it's just becoming cleaner and just more clear. And those that are not yet out of chaos, those that are not yet good for themselves or good at being who they are, just don't fret. I believe that the main purpose of these types of times is to help you out. And if you have a lot of flying around, if you have no rest, no break, nobody's helping you, or it feels like you are unsupported, as that is one of the darknesses and even the dangers of cancer during this particular year, especially if there is something about being unheard or being in a state of chaos. Um, these themes that you're going through probably have been there for lifetimes, as we are on a very karmic side of cancer here. These themes or these ideas or these issues and these pushy energies have probably been there for a very, very long time, and we are suddenly maybe at a center enough to be able to deal with them. So if life is dishing you quite a lot during this time, it means that you are at a center enough, at your inner core enough. You are wise, strong, proud, or mature enough now to deal with these things. So, to me, one of the most gospel times here is to cleanse your body, clean your home, clean up, see the main lines, the mainstream energies in your life. So, the word mainstream has come up quite a bit for me recently. Understanding what works and what is phenomenal, what is good for you, and what is going to place you together. Mainstreams of your life. I'm not talking about pop culture here. I'm talking about the main vibrations and the main sort of the main harvests or the main successes of your life, and also those things that, as you keep on going with them, they provide you more success. One of the greatest actually things about the stellium in Capricorn, and also this incredible gathering here with North Node and Mercury and Sun, is the fact that we are starting to recognize and figure out what is rigid enough, what is strong, and what is good for you. What actually works in a diet, if you like. What is it that you really do that works for you? How come you haven't done it more? And there is no point of trying to be difficult here. If there is something or somebody that just works for you, if there is a certain type of diet or a certain type of energy or a certain type of lifestyle that naturally provides you abundance, one of the luckiest ways to really upkeep what is good in your world is now just admitting that these are the things that are working, that those are the people that stand up for you, that these communities or these parts of your reality are going to always probably fruit. So we have here the not quite the evergreens, but just like the things that harvest the best. You know, any gardener, any farmer will know that there are certain things that he or she is just better at growing than other things. You know, there are certain lucky strikes, there are certain fruitful or best of waves. And I trust that with us all, there is like a little bit of a, how can I say, a restlessness or an annoying feeling of wanting to see something else happen. So this is very easy. I mean, sometimes the most fruitful and successful things to us are boring because we have conquered something, or we have found the pulse. And honestly, this is what I struggle with myself also, is when it is so easy, when it is so fresh, when it is so cheap, or when it is so just obvious, there will be parts of me that are looking for greater, more ecstatic, more exciting people, missions, situations, and jobs. And I'm not sometimes myself capable of holding myself together during times of peace. So, can you handle your states of peace? Can you handle what is actually working in harmony? And most of us don't really like that sometimes. It's like when the good guy finishes last, when those kind people are not spoken of or spoken to. It's like when the most obvious beautiful landscape is not noted. And what we do here is we plug in way too fast and way too far into the rat race. So this is where it is so nice to just let simplicity be. At this point, letting success be success. It's harsh, yeah. It is really amazing. I believe it is so harsh and hard and like really weird for some people to really face whatever is good. Some people can't face it. They cannot take a compliment. They cannot compliment themselves. Perhaps they can't yet quite yet be like on those good terms with themselves. They can't quite come to terms with the fact that when it's beautiful, it's just beautiful, you know. When it's healthy, it's just healthy. As the golden mean always comes through. We have some golden means. We have some definites. We have some favorites. We now definitely for sure have a difference to what we had even a month and a half ago. Even a year and a half ago probably is a huge contrast to now. We have foraged, we have found. There are some goodnesses coming through. And this goodness is just the golden, it is a classic mainstream thing. It's a very classic thing. It is just the best of the best. It's just the creme de la creme. There are no arguments with some things. By now, there should be no argument as to what is beautiful, what is comfortable, what is caring, what is healthy, like what is good for you, and how much you own now what you have. And nature just says, just take it, it's yours, you know? And it's no more, how can I say, able to be improved. Some of it is as good as it gets. And that sometimes for people is hard because we live in sort of like a Babylonian, like the Tower of Babylon type of energy. Sometimes people cannot believe that the road is finished, that the track is done. Congratulations, you got this. Congratulations, this is perfect for you. Like this is perfect. Like congrats. You know, and we can't see that. Sometimes we're like, no, 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 wait, 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 wait. This is not right. We can be looking in the face of the most perfect person for us and say, I'm going to tell you honestly, I think you're lying to me. Like we can have lying, it's like asking in a sense God, telling God in a sense, or telling nature, or telling beauty, telling the golden mean that it is false. Okay, so it's like I'm not going in the Christian direction here. So I'm not talking about the Christian definition of being against God. I'm just talking about that exactly, but completely differently. It's like I can't hate, but I will try to hate. You know, I can't question, but I'm gonna question. You know, I can't say anything wrong, but there's something still not good enough or not perfect enough, and I'm sure that somewhere in there is a catch. And we are all sort of coming to, I believe, that part of ego here, or that part of self which is curious about things going wrong. It's like there are a certain type of people that love to watch things go up in flames. They just love seeing people suffer, or they love the news for the danger of it, for the danger, for the energy of danger. And there is something inside that always looks for a backward, a backward road, or like that back chatter. And that is the part that always comes out at the end saying, I told you so. I knew it wasn't great, but please, this is such a wonderful, actually, Cancer time, as Rat and Cancer really compatible energies. It is such a wonderful, human, bubbly, celebratory, loving, happy, cute time at the moment to really come back to yourself and just pat yourself on the back as if you have lived this life already, okay? Because memory lane and cancer, is happening here. So as if you have already lived this life and you congratulate who you are and who you have and what you've got, that is strong. And to me, this eclipse looks like nothing at all. If you can, just see the golden mean of your life. And also those days after the 6th and the 7th and the 8th and the 9th perhaps are going to help you strengthen what you do really, actually, seriously, simply have. What do you have? There could be many things. Do you have a beautiful relationship? All of a sudden. Do you see yourself in a beautiful state of affairs? Do you just have a natural, beautiful, nurturing flow in your life? Do you maybe have a lovely house? Do you have something to share? Have you got a talent that you just feel absolute about? Have you got a wife or a husband or somebody that is always going to be around, or you just know and trust? Have you got kids that are doing well at school? Have you got certain possessions, maybe, or like a certain circulation of goods in your life that has just finally come to a really nice standard? Now, do you see yourself? Do you see your diet better? Can you now perhaps exercise in a more fun, prolonged way? Like, do you now see yourself as a more active and more fruitful being? Can you please be grateful for those very simple things, but the simplicity of it all? Okay, Mars Chiron, okay, aspecting the sun, also Venus here, staring, glaring, Venus glaring here at Jupiter. Like, she's going to be in the opposite sign of Cancer pretty soon. So, like, there's a glaring energy. It's like, surely this isn't it. Maybe this is not what we're looking for. Maybe this perfect person is not what we need right now. Maybe this abundance is not that big a deal, or it's a mistake, or these are not the ways of the world. I'm pretty sure this is outdated. Okay, outdated. Also, revivalism, revivalist feelings. I believe the next phase of Cancer, as we go through, is going to help us really achieve through understanding those epic global notes in ourselves, those ancestral, traditional, or even tired notes, and see them in a more beautiful golden light. Yeah. And then I feel that we will achieve much greater progress and much greater income, much greater people, much greater everything if we are okay with the certainties and those classic golden means. Yeah, a little bit outdated. Yeah, a little boring. Yeah, maybe a little bit not risque enough, not fun enough, not graceful enough, not seemingly not fast enough or something. We do have Mercury retrograde here, huh? And a lot of retrogrades actually. We're not kind of like snappy enough, and we sometimes like afraid that if we really let it all hang out and be ourselves and admit to those golden means of our lives and of who we are, like we're so afraid sometimes that we're going to be left behind. that we're going to be caught out, that somebody else is going to snap up our partner, or somebody's going to grab our house, or just don't worry about it. Nobody's grabbing right now at anything, but if you are very insecure, it's very easy to spill what you have gained. So it's very easy to spill your energy and time, to give away your money left, right, and center. It's very easy to spill love and affection for people you don't really want to know later and such. And why that is because we're nervous about it. You know, when you have something or somebody, you get nervous about it. And I believe that is what is creating this sort of clumsiness during this time that can, in some cause and effect way, bring you down. And when you are down, you get swept. So it's like the immune system is down because you're stressed, or your life's path, life's path is drawn out or strung out or flung around, and that has to end. So we have to come to a nice consistency. Okay, Cancer rules the skin also, and interestingly, you know, Capricorn rules the bones. So consistency. Okay, so how it all sits together. You know, in a sense, it's very interesting because skin is kind of like batter, and bones are kind of like batter. It is just that, like, skin is soft and bones are hard. It's an interesting sort of thing to meditate on, like just texture in itself. Some people understand more through these physical things, you know, kinetic things like texture, color, and stuff. You know, so like it feels to me like we need to get a nice emulsion going. So, like, you know, when you're making good batter, no batter. If you are creating a cream, you know, for your face, a handmade cream, like creating a nice consistency. If you're making a cake, you know, that kneading feeling, like that feeling of mixing everything in. It feels to me that one of the greatest things is to take all the simplest, most powerful, and most obvious ingredients and just try to mix them together into one consistent sense of self. And those people that are caught up in like how old fashioned they are, how behind the times they are, maybe like how boring they are, how lonely they are, how unexciting or not very spicy their life is, or how much or how little they have or haven't got. All of this is going to start to make this kind of cake batter that I believe is going to really pop by the end of the month. So I'm seeing a huge acceleration for us by the 27th, 28th of July as we are walking into August. So it feels to me that at this point, the best strategy is just to take all the simplest ingredients, okay? Not to fuss, not to stress. If you don't believe what you have, if you can't believe this is all you've got, if you can't yet understand how else to live, if you are like working too much, if you are trying to work out how you're going to somehow maneuver and trick something or somebody into happening in your life, if you like in a trickster state, it is very odd, and it can be a very sharp and edgy and uncomfortable, like pingy kind of time. But for example, if you want to just state to yourself in honesty and truth who you have been, maybe your whole life, that is coming to the surface now, that is going to help you. So, like, I've always loved just praying, like, I've always loved just eating greens, or I just love like petting my horse, or like, I just really enjoy looking at the landscape. These are beautiful things. And then, although they're simple, and maybe to somebody who is so used to the rat race or the mathematics of it all, or trying to control their life, trying to figure out everything for esoterics, trying to know everything 4 steps ahead, it is dark for people that are in control. They're constantly trying to control themselves or others. This is where the control freak has to let you know that it's there, the inner control freak. But those of us that do have a really nice, secure situation, those of us that have a nice course of study, that have a nice kind of conveyor belt of what we're going to achieve through just daily practice, if you're meditating every day, if you're doing yoga, if you're practicing a certain type of craft, if you're perfecting your skills in the kitchen, if you are tidying up your home, if you are working with your inners, this is going to be one of the greatest things. So it's like, okay, keep that. If you have a very nice course right now, you have a nice course of study, Jupiter conjunct moon very soon, in the stellium actually. So course of study, if you are working towards a next platform, if you are definitely in peace while you do that and you're not ripping your hair out and you're not freaking out and crying, if you are in a very, very nice, wholesome slate, and if you are on a very nice, wholesome level or wavelength and you're just doing it, I believe is going to be very good for you. So thank you very much. I hope that you find your stuff during this time. Find who is there. Find what you do actually now have and can hold. And a lot of it is permanent for you as well. So I believe it is one of the most beautiful times to just basically clean up and come to terms and see the husk from the grain at a drop of a hat. So you don't have to sit there in meditation thinking, what is real in my life anymore? It is more likely to be right there, and it may not be noticed because it is so beautiful. And sometimes beauty escapes the eye. Sometimes the eye looks for chaos. Sometimes we look for chaos more than we look for peace, and that's kind of really weird sometimes. But yes, state of harmony is coming, greater states of harmony. And through these states of harmony, I believe that a lot of people are going to really change their life. So thank you very much. I wanted to show you this beautiful landscape here. It is gorgeous at the moment. So I'm staying in Pisac, Peru. It is really, really nice. I just wanted to share it with you. If you have any questions for me, if you want to book a reading, you can. I'm available through the week, though sometimes I get lots of people. So sometimes I have an influx of people and I don't answer my emails as quickly as I could. But yes, stationing now here, so I probably will be here for a couple more months. I'd love to see you for a reading if you'd like one. If you'd like to know more about your particular sign for the month of July, have a look at the Patreon page and the links below, and I'll see you next time. Thank you and good luck.